afternoon, everybody. There you go. Oh, that is Scar. Scar in real time. Put stuff up, messing around. Get that back up there. There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, we're ready to kick this one off. It may feel like August or July outside, but it's actually the last Monday in September. We've endured the bye week, and we're back at it. Here's Jim Scarcelli, who's just ready to roll. Scar, good to see you. What's going on?
Yeah, man, little time off and week off. But I tell you, these guys, they got 2 buys. And let me tell you something, Denny, for a football player, it's not like you just chill. It's not like you just take a week off. Hey, coach, I'll see you next week. No, they're working. They're grinding. They had a scrimmage. They would have had a scrimmage last Friday and practicing and going to work, man. But the Lions, big win. Saw Mason Graham out there. He looks faster. He looks, the offensive line coach from Michigan said they were gonna move him around and knock him up. No. He's the one thing Mason Graham can do is play double team, man. He's a good player, but he looks a little quicker.
Yeah, he looks good. The Lions look good. They've got some corners. There was a scary moment. Hutchinson went down, and I don't know, for about 30 seconds, I thought the season was over. But, then that happened. Sometimes then it was like, no, he's all right. They even showed
had the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah. But, you don't know for a second, let's go the wrong way. So, that's good. You would have liked what it was like. Sharon Moore had I don't know if he had a prepared statement or not, but when he was talking, it was like you wrote it for him today when he said, we worked during the bye week on fundamentals, on blocking, on tackling, on ball security, on catching the ball. And it was like, all right, there you go. That's what you want to hear from your coach today. We've got a coach here in Scar. We'll talk about some of those position battles that are up for grabs heading into this homecoming game against Wisconsin. Speaking of the Badgers, we've got some scouting film to go over, but with no Michigan, there were plenty of Big Ten games to take in that noon window. It was USC, who Michigan will play at 7:30, not this upcoming week, but the following week out in LA, 7:30 start. And they'll take on the Trojans, who ended up losing to Illinois. What did you think of that game?
Well, I knew it would be a tough game. Listen, Brett Bielema, I respect Brett Bielema. He's a good coach. And I should have bet the game because I just knew everybody's Brett Bielema was terrible and Indiana's great and Illinois is soft and, USC is great. And, well, you know what? Go travel, a couple thousand miles. And Illinois they were sold out. They have a home field. They got some enthusiasm. They got some momentum, and they got a quarterback. And the guy's a good coach. And it was a ball game, man. It was a great game. And Illinois is for real. And you got to play. You got to play, man. And USC made some mistakes. They're a damn good football team. I still think winning there will be every bit as tough as beating Ohio State at home. I believe that. This is the first I've heard it's a 7:30 game. I don't know that it really matters. So as long as it's not 11 p.m. like Michigan State had to do, but
not 11.
USC will be they'll be a challenge, man. The guy's a damn good coach. He's got better players than he had last year, I think. And then we're a better team than we were last year, but it'll be a battle. But we got the Badgers first, Danny.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll look at their tape. USC, to me, Mayava, their quarterback, he looks like he's pretty good. Of course, Lincoln Riley does a good job with quarterbacks, but what stood out was that how Illinois could just manhandle him in the run game and how they dominated there. It made you think that whether it's going to be Underwood running it or Haynes or Marshall, Michigan should be able to have a big day on the ground against the Trojans.
I thought the offensive coordinator for Illinois did a great job. He had them off balance. He called some good stuff. They got a quarterback that's he's been around, man. He's an old dude. And they executed. They kept him off balance. I think SC's they got a good coach. In fact, Denny, the thing about SC, when we see them, their defensive coordinator worked under Wink. So another Wink guy out there. But we got to, well, we'll get in. We'll talk about them.
Well, as you moved into the afternoon, you had Ohio State taking on Washington, and that was a game that I think a lot of people watched. Low scoring in the first half. Ohio State pulled away in the second half. Anything jump out to you? Julian Sayin looked pretty good as a freshman quarterback for the Buckeyes. Anything else jump out to you?
Both quarterbacks are we got to deal with both of those guys. They're both athletic. They're both pretty accurate quarterbacks. They use them in the run game, and I was really thinking, hey man, I don't know that Washington's a great team, and again, you like to see Ohio State struggle and know and build your confidence, but Ohio State's got good players. We see that. Washington's well coached, both sides of the ball. You got no lamb chops on the schedule, Denny. Both those quarterbacks are Wink's got to deal with the speed and athleticism. Good running back for Washington. Good players, man. So nothing really stood out. They're about where we thought they'd be. Very beatable. Got to play our game. Got to secure the football, and our talent matches up with anybody. Better talent. We got better talent than Washington, I think.
Yeah, and Michigan gets to play both of the Washington and Ohio State game at home this year, so that'll matter, just like it'll matter for USC, that game. But I feel better about beating USC than I did before Saturday. I mean, it was a winnable game anyways, but, they're going to have a shot to go out to California and win that game, and, they should be able to beat Washington and Ohio State. It's always Ohio State, but, this game being at home, going for 5 in a row, a chance, maybe, who knows, if they lose just one game, then before Ohio State, they'll need to win that game to get into the playoffs. If they run the table up into Ohio State, you're talking about seeding then, and that they would already be in. So, hopefully that's the case, that you're talking about seeding heading into that Ohio State game.
Yeah, I want to, we've gone back and forth on this. I want to do both, though, Danny. I want to win a Big Ten championship, and I want to make the playoffs. And I wanted Penn State to win that football game because Oregon. I looked at their schedule. I don't know who's going to beat them. They got to play SC. They get them at home. No Ohio State, no Michigan. So that was the big challenge for them. They get Indiana. So Indiana, we want those guys to at least get a loss somewhere to help our chances. Because if everybody's got a loss, you wonder are they going to look at the rankings? And we played Oklahoma, and I don't know, but SC is, again, it'll be a different game over there at night. It'll be a different, totally different deal.
Yeah, well, if Michigan gets to the Big Ten championship game and they're taking on Oregon, that would be, I think, that would be great. You're going to be in the college football playoff then you have a chance to grab that ring, what you want, and win the Big Ten. So it wouldn't be easy. Dante Moore looks pretty good for someone.
He's every bit. I saw him play in high school, Denny. Yeah, he's. I just saw the smooth release, the tall kid, the accurate, and he's athletic. He looks like Joe Burrow to me. He's got that kind of athleticism. It's not great. He's not Justin Fields type athleticism, but he's athletic enough. And he was a big difference in that football game. Plays that he got out of trouble, he got outside the pocket, he stepped up in the pocket. They used him in the predetermined run game. I would rather play Penn State than Oregon. Oregon is the guy is brought in good players, and he's a good coach.
Yeah, I hear you on that part. So that's it. Other than that, Indiana ended up winning their game against Iowa. So I don't know if they're for real or not. They do play Oregon. If they're able to go out there, then there will be no questions about, well, who have they played and all that. They go out to Oregon and win that game. You don't have to say anything about any of that. They will have proved it, but they look pretty good. So look forward to that. Oregon.
Yeah, the other teams we play, a lot of them were off. I still think Michigan State on the road is going to be tough. They're good on offense, real good on offense. I think they score points. They don't have the players on defense. They need to spend more money on defense. And Wisconsin, we'll see what quarterback we're going to see. Maryland, Maryland's undefeated, man, starting a true freshman. And, Wisconsin gave them that game. You'll see that their kicking game was terrible for Wisconsin, but Maryland's undefeated. Northwestern we play Northwestern, and Purdue, I'll tell you a winner, Danny. You want a winner this week? Take Purdue at home against Illinois, getting 10.
Purdue at home against Illinois.
That guy's a damn good coach. Take Purdue at home, getting 10. That's a winner. No charge.
No charge on that one. Well, we get some questions for you. I do owe Andres. We did have a bet. I was giving him 31 points. Andres, you'll have to go back and check the tape. I didn't put any money down, but you owe me 3 punches in the arm whenever we meet. I'm ready to go double or nothing on that. Here's a question specifically to you, Coach Scar. What would you do about the slow defensive starts versus Oklahoma and Nebraska? Players are obviously capable, but what would you do to get them ready on drive one?
It's as a defensive coach, you're trying to figure out what the hell is the guy going to do? What's he going to run? And some of that stuff, the first drive was on, a lot of it was on the players, just not in their gap, poor technique. I think Wink had some decent things called there, and a lot of it was on the players initially, and some of it was coaching, because there's some things people will do, Danny, you just don't see, Mark. You don't prepare for plays you hadn't seen, formations, and you have to try to wing it and adjust on the fly. But great point. Players let us down early. Coaches have to adjust. You can't wait till damn halftime. And it's not. I don't think it's a matter of not being mentally fired up, ready to play. It's sometimes you give the offensive coach credit from the other side. He did things you didn't see, and your preparation was not prepared for that.
Well, on the first drive, they were all broken plays, so you could talk about staying in your lanes and gaps and everything else, but it was Briola was running around.
Yeah, you're right. I can think about you're right. He stepped up in the pocket. He made plays, and then they ran the ball at Barham a couple times that drive where we didn't have. I thought his technique was average, not what we need, and then we didn't have an adjustment on a formation one time, a simple adjustment on a formation that they ran. I didn't like that. So, yeah, you gotta, kids got to get settled into. Some of it as a player, you've got the environment, you've got to get your bearings, you got to get settled in, get the cadence, get the snap count, get lined up, get a feel for who you're playing. Sometimes it takes a couple snaps, but.
Yeah, and the other thing is, field position's a pretty big deal, and Michigan had just had a 24-yard punt on that second series to Nebraska that set up shop pretty good. They ended up missing the field goal, and so there you go. There is, before we move ahead, a couple other questions. Michigan lost a linebacker commitment that they had flipped. Barney, did he flip from SMU? I think so, and now he's headed to Ole Miss. You're probably wondering if that means Michigan goes harder after Adams, who committed to Notre Dame. Yeah, I think when you don't have any linebackers that are committed and you flipped one and that you really wanted Adams, I'm sure that right up until signing day or until they get as many linebackers as they want, that they'll be contacting Adams and they will be, whatever you say, full court press, trying to flip them, and then there'll probably be another half dozen that they'll be monitoring, linebackers that they'll be looking to flip or just recruit flat out. So, I mean, that's the name.
Yeah, Denny, I just know as a recruit, these guys go, they take their officials sometimes during the season, but you wonder, Ole Miss, big home game, against LSU, great environment. You wonder if that, did the kid make his decision after that game in that environment, because sometimes it makes a difference, man. I hope you're right, New Life, about USC defense, man. You might be right. When I really think about it, I mean, the guy worked under Wink, the defensive coordinator, okay, in Lincoln Riley stole them from UCLA. But I hope you're right, because they did give up points to Michigan State, which I think is a good offense. And they did give up a lot of points to Illinois. Maybe I'm overrating them. I hope you're right.
All right, let's see if there's another question or two in here for we go to position battles. Did you go to the concert on Saturday?
No, Danny, I was bunkered in watching the Oregon and watching football, baby.
Okay. That's good. How about Sullivan? You like him? Cole Sullivan?
Yeah, we got 3 good ones, man. We got a great situation there. We've got 3 good linebackers that are working in, rotating in. And you wonder, when are they going to start playing a 4th one? I thought maybe we might see Boateng, the freshman, but not yet. But anyway, our linebacker play has been good. Rolder's getting better. Both those young, he's really starting to perform. You can see he feels comfortable. Does a good job on the blitzes. Sullivan is reading that screen and making plays. And Hausman's, our linebacker play has been Big Ten championship caliber.
I am with you on that. And, they got good depth there. Bowles and today, Sharon Moore, you mentioned during the bye week, a scrimmage and chance to work with the younger players. The NOB, you mentioned Jim Boateng was pointed out specifically by Sharon Moore and having a good bye week. So not that he's getting out of the field anytime, but position battles. Yeah, at wide receiver, you have McCulley, you have Samaj Morgan, and you have Channing Goodwin. Now, a lot of drops. And those guys, the question that was asked the most today to Sharon Moore was, what about the drops? What about the competition? How about the jugs machine? How about Underwood throwing it to him, catching the ball with the hands? All of those things. And Sharon did mention 2 freshmen, Marsh and Browder. Maybe they're on the heels of the 3 guys that are in front of them. So I don't know, Scar. Do you think? So they know there'd be moans and groans on Saturday if anybody drops any passes. It's on the fans' minds. I'm sure it's on the players' minds. Are you, whoever you're going with? Do you have them on a short leash? Sharon said everyone's on the same leash, but do you have the guys that are in there now on a shorter leash? What do you think of that?
Well, Denny, there's just things we don't know that the coaches know. How consistent are they in practice? Obviously, everybody sees the game, and which is the bottom line. But there's little things we don't know, mental mistakes that might not show up that we don't know about. Blocking that we don't know about. But yeah, you got to catch the damn ball, man. And I'm wondering if there's going to be some pressure for that 3rd spot. I mean, we haven't seen Peyton O'Leary at all. They give these guys money to come back too, Danny. All them dudes got money to come back. And they're not even playing. So anyway, yeah, you wonder if Channing is a guy that is going to have some pressure on him. Is you wonder if there was some ground game by anybody else in this off week? I don't think. I think. Listen, Morgan makes things happen in space, and McCullough is always open with his height. Those dudes are they're in there. Okay, they got to just catch the damn ball. But I think the 3rd position is the one that is, in my opinion, that thing has to be not settled. 3rd receiver.
Yeah, I hear you. Morgan is an interesting one because this is his 3rd year, and he just, I don't want. This sounds harsh to say his head doesn't seem like it's in the game, but he does a lot of things that you wouldn't say were fundamentally sound as a punt returner, and then he's dropping the ball as a wide receiver. You say all those things, and then he made a big 3rd down catch and run against Nebraska on that big long drive, in the second half that they needed, that 16-play drive on that 3rd and 3 he made. So he's a playmaker, but he's got to do better. He's got to do a better job hanging on to it.
But as a coach, when you go to Lincoln and you throw the ball to him on that huge 3rd down conversion,
Yeah.
You ain't never going to forget that as a coach. The kid's got credibility. You know, it's going to carry a long way with you. It's hard.
Yeah, he's already done it. That's a great point, Scar. He had that. If he didn't have any of that, you'd say
that's right. But
he's breathing down his neck. But already he made up for it a little bit.
That's right. He did some things that, you know, you say, well, I don't know. That dude won a game for us over there in Lincoln, man, making some plays. So
yeah, here's the thing that you can't. Here's the things that you can't. I mean, this is here's Sam saying O'Leary would have caught that ball. I don't know. The last time I saw O'Leary, Jaden Davis threw him a dime in the spring game and put it right on his hands, and he dropped it.
Yeah.
So I mean, what are you saying? It's just like with Browder. So I'll put Browder in there. Browder, the two dimes that Bryce Underwood threw to him in the spring game, he dropped. So you know, it's just these guys are on the bench, and you haven't seen them out there do it in a game, but you have actually seen them in a practice drop the ball. So you can't say that. O'Leary would have. Maybe anybody. Maybe they
the question I have is, would O'Leary have that separation and be open? You know, who's faster? You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to look at that standpoint. But yeah, I do think we got to get good, solid, productive receiver play from number 3, 4, whatever. We got to get better there.
All right, Scar. When you're talking about
you want to look at some other positions or no? Real quick.
Yeah, well, here's your Rabbi is asking about Garnera, who's over at right guard. Says he looks like he earned a spot. Do you agree with him? Because
we looked at film. You know, we saw the game, and you know, he started 2 games. Yeah, so it's again. What do we know? How was the communication in the game? You just can't look at the score. I mean, a lot of stuff. We called a good game offensively. We moved the ball pretty good against them, and the coaches see them every day in practice. That's all I could say. Is you know, there's things that they see that we don't see, and it's a good situation that we have depth now. Hopefully, we have all 4 of those guys healthy, and if we got hurt feelings, you know, whatever. For a Michigan fan and for a Michigan coach, they're happy. They got 4 dudes that can play. They got game experience. So I don't know if I can't answer that question because I was a former coach, and I know we don't know what the hell the coaches see every day in practice. And it was to look at those films and really evaluate them. You know, the 2 games that Garnera started compared to the other 2 the other guy had. I don't know. It's hard.
All right. How about the cornerback position? Maybe Zeke Berry will be back for Wisconsin. Probably he'll be back for USC. Jair Hill was a little bit banged up at the end of the Nebraska game. Sounds like he will be good to go this week. You have Jaden Sanders, who has looked good as a true freshman, and he's graded out really well from Pro Football Focus for whatever that's worth, Scar. And then, well, there's the question to you. You're not just starting him on a Pro Football Focus number, but who's your starting corners? And does it really matter if we're talking about starters?
I just think I think Morgan's done a good job. I think we've done a good job recruiting there and picking up the transfers. I think we have a lot of really good football players there, Denny. The one thing I'd be working on in that off week, if I'm the defensive back coach and Wink's calling safety blitzes, I'm working a whole bunch of containing quarterbacks and sacking quarterbacks. And I'm doing it with a fast, athletic kid in practice. You understand what I'm saying? We can't let these guys get outside of us and pump fake us when we're bringing safety blitzes. You know, that's one of the reasons I didn't like doing it much as a coach, because they don't get a lot of work at it in practice. So,
yeah, Hillman had Mateer. That was the you could make.
Hillman lost them, and then Mangum brought him down in that game, but he got juked this past week, 2 weeks ago. You know, so I would work the hell out of that. I like our defensive backs depth, and I think we're in good shape there.
What about, let me stay at safety. Rod Moore came back, but he was on a pitch count. They have not got to if he's going to be on a pitch count against Wisconsin. But I mean, how quickly are you just ramping him up and putting him in there? You know, he was a great player, and you know, if he gets cleared, like, okay, he's good to go. You just got him in there and rolling, or what are you doing?
No, Danny, they've watched him now for a year and a half, recovering, and they've seen him in practice and they've seen him in scrimmages and now with live bullets, how's he responding? And they're slowly looking at him, but there's a lot of competition there too, man. It ain't like we got some stiffs over there that we need to push him in there. Our safety play has been pretty good. So, you got good players.
Wide receiver, New Life says, Marsh, Bell, O'Leary, give him a shot. And then the question to you, Scar, you can answer this one. How is Bell on the hands team? And he did secure the onside kick there at the end, but he's not getting a shot as a receiver. That's a pretty good question.
Well, that was a huge play in that game. Play in that game, and those kind of plays go a long way in the mind of a coach.
Yeah,
but again, they see these guys, they watch them. The receiver coach sees them. Bellamy sees them. He knows what he. Maybe we're going to see more of them this week. Maybe there was some separation in the improvement week. So, that's what we're going to find out, man.
Mark, I saw somebody mention this on Twitter. I did not see the ranking or who ranked them, but Dom Jadis, who was splitting time with Crippen, is being hailed as an excellent transfer for Missouri. I would say, if I could just jump in, that he could have been a good a player, and if Michigan was really struggling at center, like with Crippen, how people were saying that very thing after Oklahoma, but then crediting him because he looked great, especially in on those big runs where he was getting to the second level. Now people are in love with Crippen, but so. Not a surprise, but that's the question. What about Jadis?
I'm happy for the kid, Danny. That's one of the greatest things. There's a lot of great things they're doing now with college football that are so much better than when I played 10 years ago. These guys were stuck, man. He's in a 50-50 tough battle he wins on a coin flip with Crippen or loses on a coin flip, and now he has a chance. So it's great for both of them. It's great for college football. And who is our backup center, Denny? Is it the freshman Strayhorn? That's the first guy that went in. Who's our backup center?
I think Garnera would be.
Has anybody? Because the only kid we saw other than Crippen was the freshman. I wonder what to do. Scar, what's Scar's sense of how Moore moved at safety, speed, direction? He got in on a tackle. They are not going to put him in the game if there's any sign of him giving up a play. So I think every game he will be better and better. Probably 2-3 weeks from now, he will be, really, really flying around, because it might be a thing with him also, Denny. When you come off a knee, man, even though you've been working in and you just gotta. To get those live bullets, man, and really, really cut, it's a process, man, to get your mind right for that.
Yeah, well, I just saw Rod Moore about an hour ago. He was one of the players that was available today. So he spoke and talked about the pain management and everything that was going on. And he sounded like he was good to go, felt good after the game against Nebraska. But he was on a pitch count. And then he was asked about if, he would be on another, sort of snap count. And he said they have not had that conversation yet, probably later in the week. But, you can understand why that guy is a captain. It was the same thing as with Sainristil still 2 years ago. You listen to those guys talk, and you want to follow them. You want to listen to what they have to say. They're thoughtful. They're smart. You can understand why everybody likes Rod Moore. I mean, the guy said, you're off for 18 months, talking about all the, the mental part and everything else. And what's the biggest thing? He said, I love football. And he said,
Denny, let me just say this to you. I'm going to give my opinion about captain and this, that, or whatever. The guys that are elected captain, 99% of the reason they're elected captain is not what they say. It's what the hell they do. Because you ain't fooling your teammates. They see you everywhere. In the weight room, in the running, lifting, hitting, practicing. They see you off campus. I know he talks good in front of the media and people like that, but I guarantee, people vote for their teammates based on, is this dude a fighter? Is he a competitor? Can I, all that other stuff.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that from you, Scar. But it's nice to have that 1% too.
I get it. It is nice to have a kid that can talk too.
Yeah, it's the same thing with coaching. It's the same thing with coaching. You don't have to command respect and win press conferences and come out of there and dazzle everyone, but it's not bad. To be.
Yeah, Danny, I want to follow up a little more on positions. I know people. I might get tore up for this, but this is an old coach who saw his starting quarterback Jim Harbaugh get hurt in a game, and our second string quarterback was not ready. So, and I was always like this as a coach, Danny. I'm calling for a. I believe Jaden Davis is our backup quarterback. Is that correct to assume that?
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay. So if I'm what I would like to see is a Jaden Davis package for a couple plays. I want him in there. I don't want the first time Jaden Davis goes in a football game. I mean, he's played in mop-up against Central Michigan and whatever. But I would like to have a little package with Jaden Davis on first down and have it like the orgy package where you run him. You're not afraid to run him because you're backup, but you also can throw it. He can throw the football, and I just want his confidence high. I want a backup quarterback who we've worked on his confidence, even if it's only 3-4 plays, Danny, that's it. I just want the kid with a package so his confidence is built up as we go through this thing if he ever has to go in the game. So I'm calling for it. You probably ain't going to hear. I might get tore up for it now, but that's what I believe in.
Well, here's the counter is that you put Jaden Davis in a game, in a one-score game, either way, you're breaking up the rhythm of the game. Anything that goes wrong, you're pointing to, why did you screw around with a quarterback? The coach doesn't know what the hell he's doing. If it was me, and I tend to think that, yeah, you talked about mop-up duty. It's the job of this team to get up by 2-3 scores in the third quarter, so then you can get him out there, and you know what? If it's mop-up duty, let him throw the ball. And, you want to take some darts from the opposing coach, bitching about running up to score or anything else, and say, hey, I got a backup quarterback that I wanted to see him throw the ball in the fourth quarter. I'm putting him in the fourth quarter. I'm not putting him in the second quarter. Too many things can go wrong with, that kind of idea. They're not playing Central. I know Wisconsin is looked at as an easy game here, but I'm not playing around and keeping them in, and I'm not playing them to the fourth quarter. So that's the count.
I just, people, Denny, trust me, coaches disagree. Anyway, DT, D-line, Pierce and Benny are our top two, as I thought coming out of spring. They are our top two, but Williams is right behind. 44 is really close. We're good there. Inoeto is a serviceable, solid guy that worked in. We needed all of them against Nebraska. Beagle is getting better. I always thought Pelly was going to be a dude, man, based on what I saw in the spring, but it didn't happen. So our edge position, Denny, Barham is the real deal as a pass rusher. I guarantee you he got a ton of work defending run, playing reach block, playing guard kick out, fullback kick out, power play, reach, all that stuff that, Nebraska ran the football at him, Denny. So he's got to get better playing the run, but he is a factor rushing the quarterback, and so our kickers were solid, Denny, real solid against Nebraska, and that's great to get our kicker's head right. Our punter was much better. So, but Denny, in close, our schedule is really. I liked our schedule before the season. If you're going to start a freshman quarterback, I liked our schedule. Because he had a difficult road game before we get into the Big Ten, which helped him out and helped us be ready for that Nebraska crowd. And now we get another game 5 at home before we go to USC. So, anyway, I just like our schedule. I like where we're at.
You like homecoming?
As a player, it's irrelevant. You don't know what the hell. It's another day. It's another game. You don't know, or you're not aware of that.
Homecomings for alums. That's right.
Whatever. You're coming out, hitting the banner. Let's go. You don't know anything about what's going on in the parking lot. Nothing.
All right. Yeah, there you go. A reminder, I'm looking down. This is only for me and Scar, but if I look down below, I usually see the game film down there. I just see a picture of both of us. So you're going to have to work on that before we actually go to the game film, which is something we're planning on doing now. And I see it. It looks like you're already ahead of me. You've got that done. But the game film is brought to you by Quick Cut. QWIKCUT, Video and Analytics, your place to store, share, and analyze game film like Scar. You can go through all of that. This week, we have the Wisconsin and Maryland game film review, and we are ready to look at that right now.
Maryland went into Wisconsin. Fickell he's a real good defensive coach. He worked under D'Antonio for a little bit. Tressel is the defensive coordinator. He does a lot of things similar to us. Here's our base package: 3 down line, 2 outside edge guys. He's very similar to us philosophically. His base, here's base, and he'll run zone, he'll run man. And Wisconsin's kicking team killed them, and they lost their start. Let me go back to the start of the game. I'm screwed up here. Sorry, Danny. This kid is the kid that transferred from. This is the guy that I hope we don't see, but we probably will see. I think his name is Billy Edwards, right, Danny? The kid left.
Yeah.
Okay. So he started the season for Wisconsin. And then he got hurt, I think, in the first or second game. So they tried to start him against Maryland, and he ends up getting hurt after a couple plays. So he's a better player than the kid. So we don't want to see this guy. But knowing that he's hurt, he's got leg issues, it's going to affect the ability to scramble, affect the ability to call the RPO. Play calling will be in the mix, knowing that the coaches are going to want to get the kid hurt or ask him to do a lot of running. But he is a better passer. He is a better player than the kid who eventually goes in. Not because he didn't play much at all. Billy Edwards did not play much at all, but we will probably see him starting the football game. So, here they are. Here's Wisconsin now in a 4-man defensive line. So we don't really run this so much, where we have 4 guys with our hands in the ground. And, we're going to try to get outside the defense here. This is something very similar to what we're going to try to do, roll out our quarterback. And we have to do this kid does a good job, but we got to pin this kid in. Bredesen's got to pin this guy in. So this is the same kind of look. We'll try something exactly like this. We got to pin this kid in so our quarterback has that run pass option. And that's what that kid from Wisconsin does a decent job. He's in his face, so he can't really run. But we got to pin that kid in. And so this is the kid that goes in the game, Denny, after Edwards got hurt. So this is the guy we want. Okay, we want this dude. Okay, I don't know where he came from, but there's a drop off. Doesn't throw it as well, doesn't run as well, and he'll make mistakes. He just look at that pass off his back foot. So we want that dude. We want to get Billy out of the game. And Wisconsin couldn't move the football. Danny, they couldn't move the football. They lose this game. Their kicking game and their offense is terrible with the backup kid. Now we will run this play. This is RPO on the goal line. And, we'll run this stuff. You got any questions, Danny? I'm just throwing film out here. And as a coach, Danny, you're always looking, even though we're playing Wisconsin, but as a coach, you're always looking at the guy down the line. So anyway, mesh point, what are they doing against this read here? What are they doing here? This is what our coaches are going to be studying. What kind of look are they giving me? They're lost. They got nothing there. They're not even honoring that play. So whatever, this is a terrible adjustment. You got a down block right here. You got, I don't know who the hell, they got no answer for this play. So it's Yeah, it's just makes no sense. So they got no answer, and those are the things you're looking at when you're looking at film. You know what? But he does a lot of different things. Again, Wisconsin's kicking game was terrible, terrible. He got beat with whatever. But you'll see a lot of zone, and here's some man defense on the goal line. I'm just giving you a quick look, Denny. I mean, he does a lot of stuff. What's their package here? This is our nickel package. We look just like this up front. You know, he's got 6 dudes up here. We will do the same kind of thing. Bring this, you know, drop him, bring him. But the look is that's our look. So our offense will see that, and it helps your offense when teams run the same stuff you run. But they are in a man coverage here now. I think this dude has got this guy, and that's tough. He crosses his face. So we'll look at that kid. We'll look at that safety. You know, that's a nice matchup. You know, who do we want? What are we looking for upstairs? You know, who's this guy covering? Is he the third weakest one, the weakest guy, cover guy? Maybe Maryland thought that. So I don't know what number that kid is, but
well, the quarterback for Maryland, Malik Washington, he's a true freshman like Bryce Underwood. So that's what.
Yeah. So, you know, he brought a good one in. So anyway, here it is, man to man. This is our front. You better look at it. And this kid just beats him. So he's in some kind of combo coverage there. They look like these guys got a linebacker sitting in the middle. Yeah, like I'm not sure what the hell kind of deal this is. Linebacker's not really moving. But yeah, you got to try to decipher what the hell they're doing. And here's our nickel package. What's it down in distance? So 1st and 10. Getting outside, you know, that's something Wisconsin does. You know, when I'm looking at Wisconsin, it looks like they don't do a great job. You know, look at this defense, Denny. You know, it's like, what are they doing here? They don't have anybody containing the football. So, you know, if you could recognize this, look at this. You know, this is an unbalanced formation. You've got guard, tackle, Bredesen over here. You got Klein here. You got Bredesen here. You got Haynes here. Look at this formation. So this is what you're looking at as a coach is like, how does this guy adjust? How does he adjust against this kind of an unbalanced formation? So you kind of game plan. Obviously, and that's the trick, the guessing game. Is he going to adjust the same way against you that he did against Maryland? You follow me?
Yeah.
So you're looking at how did Wisconsin adjust in this unbalanced formation against Maryland? So you're thinking about that as an offensive coordinator. You know, I like how he adjusted. What can I do? And Maryland, you know, they're like, man, we got this guy pinned. They got nothing. They got nothing containing the quarterback here. Or are they bringing this safety? No, they got nothing. So we could throw it. You know, their guy makes a play, but I like the adjustment for some other reasons. You know, I got nothing else, Mark. Just looking at plays now, Danny. I don't know how much more you want to see of them. I just wanted to give you a little quick scouting report. If we get the backup quarterback, that's great news.
Yeah.
Wisconsin will have tough kids. They're well coached on defense. They don't have a quarterback that can deliver the football. You know, can we count on their kicking game taking a crap like it did against Maryland? I doubt it. But you know, I'm a big Luke Fickell fan. I think he's a good coach. He won at Cincinnati. He's not in Tressel over there is a good coach.
Well, the question that Mark has is what is Wisconsin's best opportunity? I took the film off from their start.
I'll shut it down then.
I would say that just looking at the statistics, and it's early in the season, so you don't put like everything and thinking, oh my gosh, what's Michigan going to do? They're in trouble. Wisconsin has the #1 rush defense in the country after 4 games. So Nebraska was a top 5. Yeah, well, Nebraska was a top 5, and Michigan smashed them for 280 or whatever it was. So it's early in the year. Wisconsin has played, Miami of Ohio, Middle Tennessee State. They did play Alabama, so there you go.
And they played them tough for a while. I watched the beginning of that game. They just didn't have any quarterback play.
Yeah, so that could be the one right there. I'm going to see the team stats, what they held Alabama to on the ground.
Benny, the way I would answer this question, okay, number one, the quarterback has to play. Okay, what's Wisconsin's best opportunity to beat us? Number one, that quarterback has to be healthy, Billy Edwards, because he's an athlete. I was always high on that kid. If he's 100% healthy, the game is totally different than the clown that Maryland saw. So he's a whole nother deal with their offense. And, okay, so if he's – but, what's the opportunity to beat us? Let's just, against them, they're going to be – running the football will be tough. We have to have great – we just can't line up and run and just run the football on first down against this team. We got to treat this team that they are a very well-coached football team. They will be very good at stopping the run. They're going to emphasize stopping the run. So you have to be consistently inconsistent calling run pass on first down against this guy. You don't let him get a bead on, we have to take the Nebraska game plan offensively and say, you know what, Luke, we'll throw the bomb on first down. You want to load up and overcommit to stopping the run because that's what you want your great stats of run defense, whatever. We just be a great play caller, formation them, motion, scheme, down and distance, get them thinking, and then their offense, we got to stuff them, man. There's nothing great over there.
Alabama ran for 72 yards in the game that they played.
So, that's it.
Yeah, 72 yards. So
what they score though? They scored 35 points, 40 points,
38 points.
So that's the kind of deal. He just figured, look,
they threw for 382 yards.
Yeah, so that was his game plan, and that's what I mean. You have to be. We got guys that can throw it and catch it. So you have to be ready, willing, and able to throw the ball on first down against him because if he thinks he's, Denny, I've been there as a coach. If you think you're outmanned and you think you're outgunned, you're going to say, okay, well, I can't let him just hand the ball off to 22. Let's hope that, Bryce Underwood has a bad game.
Yeah. Let me mention one thing at the news conference today. Sharon Moore was asked during the bye week, you had an opportunity to work with a lot of young players. And Sharon Moore said, yes, that's true. Martian Browder did really well in practice during the bye week. So he was asked about the young players that perform well. And he went on to say NOB had a good bye week practice. He was talking about the young players. When the question became of, hey, here are the three starters that you had at wide receiver, the competition's ongoing. He didn't say, yeah, we're going to get Martian Browder in there. He just, continued. He wasn't talking about, any of those guys being on a short leash. He just kept, going back to the competition is ongoing and the malleable part of the depth chart. But I do see how you could read into that Martian Browder because they had a good bye week of practice, and Michigan is sensitive and looking for some pass catchers that maybe one of those guys will get an opportunity. So that's it.
You share things sometimes with the media to give your kid confidence, give the players confidence.
There you go. Scar Michigan Go 1, 2, 3, 4 has dropped a bag and says, what are your thoughts on the defense so far?
I think our defense is playing, we had a hell of a challenge at Oklahoma. You think about timing, Denny. If we'd have had Oklahoma, the kid's hurt now. So let's talk about that real quick. Oklahoma's quarterback is hurt. I don't know if he got hurt running the football in a game, but this is why, if that kid doesn't play in that game, but anyway, they moved the ball on us. It wasn't easy. We're making some mistakes, but we end up losing that game. Mateer's run was huge in that game. Okay, Nebraska, we give up a lot of points. We start the game off pretty good. and they got players, they got a quarterback, and they did score a lot of points. I don't know that they ran the ball down our throat. The Hail Mary is BS. That was coaching. That was playing. That was a bigger coaching. Me and Duke covered that. That was a bigger deal on the coaching because I don't understand what the hell Wink was doing there, but that was a gift. So when I look at it, I think we're getting good D-line play. It's not great, but it's good. We're getting good edge play. Barham is going to have to keep getting better. We're getting good linebacker play. We're rotating 3 guys in there. A lot of secondary guys. But I think we are listen, our defense is geared to stop the physical stuff. That's why USC, both of our, they're going to want to be, it's geared for that stuff. It's geared to stop Ohio State, hopefully, too. So some of this stuff that happens now, we always got to be ready to really stop the people that we really gear your defense toward. But I don't know if I answered the question, man. I'm confident in where we're at. We're giving up points, but we're winning football games. There's been some turnovers. We had turnovers on offense. We put our defense on the field a couple times after turnovers, and not making excuses for them, but it does affect defense. So,
well, I'll answer it. I feel better about Michigan overall than I did before the season. That's even with the loss against Oklahoma. And there's 2 reasons on offense. The 2 reasons are Justice Haynes. When you have an explosive playmaker like Haynes has showed that he is able to, if you give him the ball and get him into some space, that's how you're going to win some games. And then Underwood's development would be the other thing. The front 7, Michigan's defense on front 7, that's a championship type front 7. They're getting Rod Moore back. I think that they're going to be better on defense moving forward. I think they might have a championship type defense. The corners, they get Rod Moore back, but they need better corner play. But I'm higher on Michigan now than I was before the season. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, the only defensive stat that Coach Moeller or Coach McCartney ever gave a damn about is only one stat, Denny.
Wins.
Defense versus the score. That's all I ever cared about. It's the only stat I ever talked to my players on defense about. The guy that gives up the fewest points wins championships. So you be great in the red zone. Don't give them no bombs. Don't give them no bombs and be great in the red zone. Make them grind. But yeah, we're giving up too many points against Nebraska.
That's it. And, don't take a taunting penalty.
Yeah, I mean, those are gifts. Right. You're absolutely the Hail Mary is a gift.
Yeah.
That was coaching, big time coaching.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I put it on the coach too, Denny. I'm sorry, but I put all that stuff like a 20-year-old kid doing that. I don't put that on a 20-year-old kid. You have to cover all of that stuff as a coach, all of it. You got to, we've been doing it, and you're going to get that one referee out of 50 that'll call that, and we had them. So you're going to have games where they don't call that stuff, but you have to have your team prepared for all that talking, man. Shut it down. Sharon's been great with the way our kids behave on campus, and we got to handle that because that was terrible. That was no more
taunting penalties.
None of that, man. Go celebrate with your team. It was an unforced turnover. Terrible.
All right.
That's on Jerome Moore, period. I don't put that on a kid, man.
Biff. Put that on Biff. He was the head coach.
Whatever. That ain't on Biff. That's the way you handle your program and everything you talk about, man.
I know. I'm sorry.
I had a kid one time, Denny, in the game, and I get a 15-yard penalty, and what the hell's going on? The ref said your kid did this. He did the neck throat deal. I took that kid out of the game. I shredded him, and I said, "Where the hell did you learn that?" He said, "You've never." I said, I never covered that. As a coach, I didn't cover the knife throat deal, right? So anyway, I shredded that kid beyond shred, and the whole team got the message. And he saw it on television. He saw it on Sunday or something. Saw it on Saturday afternoon. That's where he learned that. Well, it ain't happening here, man.
I just saw somebody for a throat slash. They got a 15-yarder. Just it might have been last week. Could have been this past.
Anyway, man, you know you got to try to prepare for that. So that was a young coach. You got to have your team prepared for all that kind of stupid stuff.
All right.
Danny, I gotta give you a quick story. It's called a ready list. Okay, I call it a ready. Coaches call it a ready list. At the beginning of the year, you got all your stuff you cover that you might not cover it every week, but it's all this kind of nice neck slash stuff. You got to cover it. But I remember the game where the dude from LSU Florida game. You remember that game where that kid threw a shoe?
Yeah,
it was a huge penalty. And I got a text from one of my coaches. He said, "Coach Scar, you got to put that on your ready list. Don't throw a shoe at another dude on the field." You know what I mean? But that's the stuff that, like, how do you prepare for that? Well, you don't throw a damn shoe at a guy, man, in a game. Well, he took whatever.
Don't spit. Don't.
Yeah, you got to cover. Yeah, you just covered like Spike Lee, man. Do the right thing, babe. Sometimes you got to be a smart guy. Don't do anything stupid like that.
I'm with you. Well, that's a great job today, Scar, and we look forward to talking with you down the line. As Jerry D'Ario would say, hail to the victors. We'll give a shout out to number 64 on continued improvement. He looks like he's doing a better job every day, so that's great. And good job by you today, Scar.
All right, Danny, it's all good, man. Jerry's helping out over there at East Kentwood. They got that quarterback going to Michigan State. You are aware of that. I think we've talked about it, but that kid's good, man. Jerry thinks that maybe we slipped on that kid. He's good. I saw him in his 7-on-7, and he's a damn good player, good athlete, good player, man. All right, go blue, man. Let's go get them Badgers.
There he is, Scar. We'll see you over on the Maize and Blue Review. Go double tap the subscribe button on on3.com right now on the Maize and Blue Review.